On this edition of Cronkite Sports Report.
It's been 20 years. Looking back on the Diamondbacks World Series victory.
Taking flight, competitive skydiving comes to Arizona.
The LGBTQ plus community gets their chance to take the ice.
And a college soccer team with an international flair.
Plus, how RODEO is making a comeback at this Navajo Nation school.
These stories coming your way now on Cronkite Sports Report. Hello and welcome into Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Morgan Cardin.
And I'm Sean DePaz. We appreciate you joining us. It's hard to believe that it's been 20 years since the Arizona Diamondbacks won the World Series. It was the first and only title the team has seen.
And that fall classic was a classic for the ages. Cronkite Sports reporter Isabella Duran takes us back to that moment in Diamondbacks history.
November 2021, the Diamondbacks ballpark sits empty amidst a 4-year playoff drought. But 20 years ago, something magical happened.
It was something that, we'll never forget. I think it was the biggest sports moment in the history of Phoenix.
November 4th, 2001, the day the Diamondbacks won their first and only World Series title. Rich Dozier, who was the president of the team at the time, takes pride in accomplishing something rare.
It's the fastest ever of any major sports franchise in any league to win the championship, the World Series or the NBA title or whatever it is. We did it in 4 seasons.
The backdrop was just as unusual. The country was reeling from 9/11. The Fall Classic was the first American sports championship since the terrorist attacks. And the Diamondbacks had to face the sentimental favorite, the New York Yankees.
There were a lot of people throughout the world rooting for the Yankees. Sad, but we didn't care. We just wanted to win. But it did feel like there was more rooting for the Yankees.
But as much as the country felt for the city of New York, Diamondback fans like Daniel Gomez, who attended the World Series, knew there was something special about this Arizona team.
We had players that just bonded, and it was beautiful to watch. You could tell something beautiful was building.
Diamondbacks beat writer Mark Gonzalez had no idea he would be writing a story for the ages.
A very fun team to cover. I don't think I soaked in enough moments. There was so much history that went into this one.
The D-backs had home field advantage at Bank One Ballpark and won the first 2 games behind pitchers Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. But when they went to New York, they dropped 3 straight 1-run games. They lost Game 5 in heartbreaking fashion, blowing a 2-run lead in the 9th inning. The series went back to Arizona, and Randy Johnson dazzles again, and the D-backs win Game 6 to set up a dramatic Game 7, where Arizona found itself down by 1 run in the bottom of the 9th.
We're now facing Mariano Rivera, who is probably the best closer in the history of baseball. And our first hitter is Mark Grace, who's a left-hand hitter in the bottom of the 9th. And Colangelo and I look at each other and he goes, "It was a good run. Doesn't look like we got it." I go, "Yeah, Mark Grace, lefty. This guy's so tough on lefties." And then Mark Grace shoots a single in the center field. And we're jumping up and down, so we have a chance.
Arizona now has the bases loaded with only 1 out, and Luis Gonzalez at the plate.
Now, Gonzo hits his line drive, as we say, single in the center field because it was really a blooper.
How do I formulate this into a big picture? You want to capture the moment, which was Luis's single that fell in, but just capture the moment as far as what they overcame in that last game, the last 2 innings, to win the crowning achievement of baseball.
You were there, you saw those hits, you lived the emotion, you went through all those dynamics and all the ups and downs, the roller coasters. It's history, and you're part of it.
It's not something the Diamondbacks have been able to recapture in the 20 years since that fateful November day. For now, it lives in the archives, but won't be forgotten anytime soon as it continues to captivate the Arizona sports community.
It's something that's embedded in anyone who had anything to do with the D-backs, and hard to say 20 years have gone by.
It was an amazing experience. To beat the famed Yankees in our ballpark in Game 7, the year of September 11th, it was sort of magical.
In Phoenix, Isabella Duran, Cronkite Sports Report.
Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling were named co-MVPs of the World Series that year. Yet it's hard to believe that only 1 Diamondback from that team made it to the Hall of Fame.
Yep, Randy Johnson back in 2015. While the Yankees had 4 Hall of Famers from their squad. Derek Jeter, Mike Mussina, and Mariano Rivera, along with manager Joe Torre.
Coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report, we introduce you to the world of competitive skydiving.
And later, we travel to the Navajo Nation and explore how big-time rodeo finds its way to one small college. Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. Now, falling 13,000 feet in the air seems scary to me, but it's just another day in the life of a competitive skydiver.
Arizona was host to the United States Parachute Association's National Championships. Cronkite Sports reporter Brian Seitz jumped into the action.
Skydiving, parachute jumping, falling with style. Whatever you call it, when you are standing over the edge of the plane, looking out to the ground, seeing nothing but patches of land, you only have one thought.
No, we shouldn't do this. This isn't a real thing. Completely abandoned all my plans right there.
If you think jumping out of a plane one time at 13,000 feet in the air can be terrifying, try doing it 800 times a year. Skydivers like Joey Marshall says he takes about 700 to 800 dives a year to train, while also spending about 30 hours in the indoor skydiving tunnels. Going alone can be scary, but being part of a team helps ease the fear.
I love the aspect of being a part of a small team. It's like a hunting pack, you know, and you just get to do, it's just pure rock and roll out there. There's no defense, it's only offense. It's very technical, but at the same time, it's very fluid.
Skydiving, known as a single-person sport, does have team disciplines. The formation teams can consist of 4, 8, 10, or 16 members. Vertical and mixed formation is one of the 7 disciplines of skydiving.
Essentially, our team is comprised of 4 people doing multiple formations. We have 35 seconds from the moment we leave the plane to score through as many times we can, get all the points, while our 5th person is getting video.
The United States Parachute Association recently held their national championships in Eloy at Skydive, Arizona, which will also play host to the 2022 World Championships. Competitors from all over the world dropped in this past October to participate in the United States' biggest competition.
US skydiving level is very high, and the canopy pilots from US are very, very good. And I meet a lot of them at the World Championships, so it's good to have another competition against them here on their territory.
Another aspect the USPA promotes is skydiving to all adults, regardless of age or ability. Arizona Skydive's Brett Martin, whose son is paralyzed from the waist down, knows it can be a case-by-case basis, but Martin takes great pride in teaching people with disabilities how to skydive, knowing that everyone competes on the same stage.
Anybody can do it. Skydiving is one of those sports that anybody can do. Blind people skydive. Paraplegics, quadriplegics skydive. People with epilepsy skydive. With tandem, it makes it available to anybody.
Tandems are a great way to dip your toe into skydiving. So is indoor skydiving. Martin's son Jarrett is a veteran skydiver and was among the competitors in October's championships. As for Marshall, skydiving has been life-changing, but one thing remains the same: the anxiety he feels when he jumps. From his first indoor event to his last championship, the nerves are always there.
I had the same paralyzing fear that I had, you know, competing at a world level. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I just quit my job and came out here.
Having the jitters comes with the territory, but with the ability for most people to compete, these jumpers are hoping more people will fall in love with the sport. In Eloy, Brian Seitz, Cronkite Sports Report.
Skydive Arizona and Eloy will play host to the World Championships in September 2022.
Those aerial shots look amazing, but I'm still not sure I could do it. Coming up next on Cronkite Sports Report, how the LGBTQ+ community is taking it to the ice with help from the Arizona Coyotes.
Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. Members of the LGBTQ+ community are getting a chance to play organized hockey thanks to a new Learn to Play program.
Backed by the Coyotes, the program reaches a new segment of hockey fans. Cronkite Sports reporter Evan Oshowitz gives us a look at how these players are faring on the ice.
28-year-old Casey Stewart is one of 44 LGBTQ adults learning how to play hockey for the first time. As a member of the Pride Growlers Learn to Play program, Casey travels to the Coyotes Community Ice Center in Mesa every Sunday night to practice with the Coyotes hockey development staff. and connect with other community members looking to get involved with the sport.
I grew up watching hockey a little bit with my dad. I started watching it again recently and really got into it the last few years. And then I had a friend who reached out and said, hey, do you want to learn how to play? And when he heard about this, it sounded like a really good time.
The participants have varying levels of exposure to hockey. Some, like Stewart, are lifelong fans, while others, like Michael Gerasder, are newer to the game, but all have a desire to play and grow the sport within their community.
I've really enjoyed watching hockey lately. I love the sport, and this looked like a great opportunity to be around people who are like-minded and positive, have a love for the sport and for each other.
I've never played hockey before. I've maybe ice skated a handful of times in my life. When we heard about this program, we were super excited. We wanted to do something physical. So an adult sports league was ideal.
The Pride Growlers serve as a feeder program for the Arizona Legacy Pride Hockey Association, or ALPHA, a brand new LGBTQ rec hockey league, which aims to give LGBTQ people an alternative to their regular entertainment options. And word is spreading quickly.
Mostly the end game, I think, would be to give people of our community something to do other than, go to the bar and drink. It's definitely very crucial.
I've told all my patients about it, all my friends about it. So everybody who's interested in hockey, I've definitely, hey, come out, check it out. We're gonna be starting a league soon, so yeah.
Stewart and Gerasder both say that having the backing of an NHL team helps give the program more legitimacy and makes them feel as though the sport is beginning to embrace their community.
It's wonderful that the Coyotes have taken this step and given a program for people like us to come out and learn to play and to really change the norm in the league and in the sport itself.
I think you have to create these safe spaces for LGBTQ people to want to come out and to know that they're in a safe space where something negative isn't going to be said in the locker room. To have that safe space is huge.
I think it just legitimizes it, and I think it just, just makes us feel like, that hockey world is really behind, us as a community learning how to play and, wanting us to get better.
Stewart and Gerasder are just embarking on their hockey journeys, but their experiences in the Pride Growlers program have inspired them to keep playing and get other LGBTQ people involved in the sport that has brought them so much joy. In Mesa, Evan Osherwitz, Cronkite Sports Report.
A local community college soccer team is putting themselves on the map after an incredible fall season.
Cronkite Sports reporter Jackson Coppinger sheds light on a community college soccer team dominating local play with an international roster.
Welcome to Yuma, home of Arizona Western Community College. The Matadors men's soccer team here has put the small town school on the national map, ranking among the top 10 teams in the country. Led by Coach Kenny Dale since 2005, the team is off to its best start ever and feels it's made a major impact in the community.
I feel like we've raised the local level, because we have, not only do I tell my players, hey, watch professional teams and watch university teams, but also we need to provide an example for local high school and youth players.
I've already, while I've been here, I've had about 3 people that have texted me saying, what's the score? How's it going? Because the people in the community are interested too.
But AZ Western isn't only focused on the local talent. The Matadors have a large international program, hosting students from over 40 different countries. Dale appreciates the dedication to success he sees from these international students at the community college level.
The student athletes are still aspiring to something, transferring to a 4-year university, continuing their academic and athletic careers. So students at the community college level are very hungry for success.
The success of this year's team has been impacted by a melting pot of players. The Matadors have 26 international players contributing this season, including Michael Appiah, a freshman striker from Accra, the capital of Ghana, who's thrilled to have found a new family 7,000 miles from home.
We represent him on community, in school, everywhere. So everywhere we go, we represent us like AWC. So the community is part of us.
Another player, Sam Oliver, hails from Manchester, England. The freshman played on the pitch in the ranks for Manchester United prior to his arrival and was trained by some of the best in the world. Oliver loves the cultures coming together for a common cause with his new team.
We've got Japanese, Italians, French, so we're all just learning about each other's culture, where we've come from, and learning a new language. So it's just helped us become more of a family.
The team is led by co-captains Ridwan Boukra and Romeric Bernerin of France. Boukra is in his final season with AZ Western and helping mentor his countryman.
So actually it's really nice to be with him as a captain because he's also French. He's not from the same city as mine, but I know him since last year, so we have a pretty good relationship.
We need to see our common humanity to get the guys to understand that you're all part of this one team.
Let's go! And the players are making themselves at home in Yuma, getting used to life in America and the local cuisine.
Or whatever you think is the best food in America.
To me, I like rice. I'll go for panda or something.
Go panda?
Yeah, panda.
Panda.
It's a tough decision between Cane's and Chick-fil-A. But wow, the best I've had.
What kind of food are you guys missing from France?
Oh, a lot of. Not the burgers and pizza for sure. Not the burger and pizza here. Yeah.
But no one will pass up the pizza when it follows a victory celebration. And for this team, wins come often. The cultural exchange among teammates is one of the many factors pushing the players to succeed.
I really like the diversity of it. I like the fact that a young man from Yuma can meet a kid from Ghana and they can be lifelong friends.
Achieving 18 straight wins and being named regional champs is a powerful feat for this small town school. But nothing is quite as powerful as doing it with a little cultural flair. In Yuma, Jackson Coppinger, Cronkite Sports Report.
Coach Dale was rewarded with the ACCAC Coach of the Year this season.
And 7 players on AZ Western were awarded with either all-conference or all-regional acknowledgments.
Coming up on Cronkite Sports Report, how one college on the Navajo Nation is bucking its way onto the rodeo circuit. Welcome back to Cronkite Sports Report. Football, for many of us, is the first sport we associate with college athletics.
But for DINE College, it's the rodeo program that is the star of the show. Cronkite Sports reporter Zachary Larson shows us how the program is a big part of the Navajo Nation's culture.
It may feel like the middle of nowhere, but for those driving Route 66 in northeast Arizona, DINE College is in just the right place, especially if you're into rodeo.
And I just had a dream I wanted to be a bull rider, so as soon as I woke up going to school, I told my mom I wanted to ride bulls, and she thought it was the craziest thing.
For riders like Cody Jesus, rodeo riding comes naturally living on the Navajo Nation.
Our native Navajo people were where our livelihood is with sheep, cattle, horses. For centuries we've been brought up with that.
Located among the red rocks and lightly traveled roads of the Navajo Nation is where you'll find Saylee, home of DINE College. The small town and community college grew as more students found their way to the yellow-coated rodeo arena.
When DINE College opened more than 50 years ago, rodeo is a program that was embedded into the college.
Since its inception in 1968, the college has grown to over 1,500 students, and several of those students rode their way to the College National Finals Rodeo.
Back in the day when the rodeo program used to be the program to be a part of, we used to have more than 30 plus students be part of the program.
A once full team has dwindled down to 4 members, as the pandemic has caused the rodeo gates to remain shut.
Now we're trying to get one foot under the other and start up, to get going, and I just feel bad. I just felt bad for the kids that were here.
Those students now have to watch the program start over, after the virus shuttered school sports for over a year. But as rodeos begin to pick back up, their 23-year-old star, who's one of the top bull riders in the state, is excited to compete for DINE.
Honestly, I've never been here. I've seen pictures and stuff, and I always wanted to come out here, so when I was you know, rolling up, what better place to practice at is what I thought.
The Sawmill, Arizona native chose DINE College to get an education, something the school hopes more athletes will take advantage of.
I am pushing the academic side, making sure that the students come here to DINE College to receive a quality education.
Not only is it about getting an education, the team hopes to rebuild the program through the passion of the Navajo community.
You see little kids wearing their bull riding chaps and their bull riding vests, and I really think it means a lot to them, because when I ride anywhere like PBR World Finals, they come and they support. And
it may take years to rebuild the program back to its glory days, but one day the trailer full of cattle will hit the dirt road and find the spirit of rodeo once again within the dusty landscape of DINE College. In Salee, Zachary Larson, Cronkite Sports Report.
Now, the rodeo program has lost out on many talented athletes after losing scholarship funding due to budget cuts in 2017.
But new academic incentives have been put into place to help lure students back to the program. That's all for this episode of Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Morgan Cardin.
And I'm Sean DePaz. On behalf of everyone involved, thank you for tuning in.